Today we're talking about emotional regulation, specifically what's actually happening when your emotions hit like a freight train, and how to stay on the rails when they do. If you've ever been told you're too sensitive, too reactive, or that you need to control your emotions better, and you didn't know how to do that in a way that actually worked, this episode is definitely for you. Welcome to Wisdom from the Porch. I'm GP. This is Wisdom from the Porch. Let's start with what's actually happening because understanding the mechanism changes everything. Your brain has two major players in the emotion game. The amygdala, your threat detection and emotional processing center, and the prefrontal cortex. You probably heard of that. That's your regulation, reasoning, and response selection center. In a regulated brain, these two talk to each other constantly. Emotion arrives, the amygdala fires, the PFC steps in, assesses the situation, and modulates the response. In ADHD brains, this prefrontal circuit is running at a reduced efficiency. The amygdala fires at full intensity, often at higher than average sensitivity due to the rejection dysphoria we talked about last week. But the PFC is slower to respond, less able to modulate, and more easily overwhelmed. What you experience? Emotions arrive fast and at full volume. The regulatory response is delayed, so the emotion runs for longer at higher intensity before the thinking brain catches up. This isn't immaturity. This is neurological latency. The good news, regulation is a skill and the brain is plastic. The tools I'm about to give you work for strengthening the PFC amygdala communication pathway over time, and by giving you an emergency bridge in the moment when that pathway is overwhelmed. The first tool is called Halt Check. Before you respond to an emotional trigger, run a 4-second internal check. Am I hungry? Am I angry already from something earlier? Am I lonely or disconnected? Am I tired? These 4 states amplify emotional reactivity in every brain, but they are rocket fuel for ADHD dysregulation. If the answer to any of them is yes, the emotion you're feeling right now is more intense than the situation warrants. Address the state before you address the trigger. The second tool is physical discharge first. When you're flooded, cognition doesn't work. You can't think your way out of an amygdala hijack while it's happening. You have to move the emotion through the body before you can access reason. This looks like stepping outside and walking fast for 2 minutes, cold water on your face or wrists, 10 jumping jacks in a bathroom, shaking your hands out hard. These aren't silly. They discharge the cortisol and adrenaline that are physically in your bloodstream during emotional flooding. The thinking brain comes back online faster. The third tool is name the emotion precisely. So research from UCLA shows that affect labeling, naming what you're feeling, reduces amygdala activation greatly. But vague labeling doesn't work as well as specific labeling. I'm upset is less effective than I'm humiliated. I'm anxious is less effective than I'm terrified of being abandoned. The precision matters because the brain's response to an emotion is partly shaped by how clearly it can categorize the experience. The more precisely you name it, the more regulatory bandwidth you access. Build your emotional vocabulary. It's a regulation tool. The fourth tool is the 24-hour rule for reactive decisions. When you're flooded, you make decisions that regulated you wouldn't make. You send emails you regret. You end conversations prematurely. You agree to things or refuse things from the emotion, not from your actual values. The rule? No major decisions or communications while flooded. If you can't wait, draft it. Don't send it. Sleep on anything that felt urgent at 9 p.m. Most ADHD adults will tell you their best mental habit was learning to not send the thing they wrote at 11 p.m. And the fifth tool is co-regulation. The fastest way to regulate an ADHD nervous system is often through another nervous system. A calm, safe person, a pet, even a calming voice through a phone or podcast. Human nervous systems are designed to co-regulate. We literally borrow each other's calm. Know who your co-regulating people are before you're flooded. Have their number ready. Text first so you're not ambushing them. Emotional dysregulation is one of the heaviest things neurodivergent adults carry. Partly because it's invisible, partly because it looks like a character flaw from the outside, and partly because nobody gave you a manual. Look, you're not out of control. You're working with a regulatory system that needs more support than most people's. These tools are that support. I hope you use them. Your one next step? Start with the HALT check this week. Just pause once a day before responding to something emotional and run through it. 4 seconds, that's the ramp. If this helped even a little, you can follow the show, so these conversations are here when you need them. And as always, thank you to Cloud Microphones for supporting these conversations. Thursday, we're on Neurodivergent Self-Care, the version that actually makes sense for our brains. I'll see you then. This has been Wisdom from the Porch. I'm GP. You're always welcome on the porch.